Marcus woke up at dawn with his face stuck to the cheap pillow. His eyes were swollen, his throat raw. He'd cried himself to sleep like a child. His phone was vibrating. It had been vibrating all night. He picked it up. 89 notifications, messages, tags, mentions. The video had hit 2 million shares. But there was one message that stood out. From Agent Foster. Sent at 6:47 a.m. Coffee. Mario's Diner. 8 a.m. Don't be late. Not a request. An order. Marcus dragged himself to the shower. The water was lukewarm and smelled like rust. He stood under it anyway, trying to wash away the feeling of being torn apart from the inside. When he looked in the mirror, he barely recognized himself. Dark circles under his eyes. Unshaven. Hollow. This was what rock bottom looked like. He dressed in the same clothes from yesterday. They smelled like fear and shame. Everything did now. Mario's Diner was on the edge of town. Old place. Red leather booths. Checkered floor. The kind of spot where cops used to gather for breakfast. Marcus had been here 100 times. Laughing with his squad. Trading stories. Being one of the good guys. Now when he walked in, the whole diner went quiet. Every head turned. Every conversation stopped. An older black man at the counter saw him and stood up. Walked out. Didn't say a word. Just left his coffee and $20 on the counter and walked out. The message was clear. Agent Foster was sitting in the back booth. Same dark suit. Hair pulled back. She looked up when he approached. Sit. Marcus slid into the booth across from her. His hands were shaking again. They hadn't stopped shaking since yesterday. A waitress came over. Young. White. She looked at Marcus with barely concealed disgust. Coffee, Agent Foster said. 2 cups. Black. The waitress left without acknowledging Marcus. You look terrible, Agent Foster said. I feel worse. Good. You should. She pulled out a folder. Set it on the table between them. I read your statement from yesterday. 6 hours with Agents Chen and Brooks. You gave them a lot. I told them the truth. Did you? Or did you tell them what you thought they wanted to hear? She opened the folder. Because here's the thing, Reed. I've been doing this job for 9 years. I've interviewed hundreds of cops. The bad ones. The corrupt ones. The ones who got caught. And you know what they all have in common. Marcus didn't answer. They all think they're victims. They all think they were just doing their job. They all think one mistake shouldn't define their entire career. She leaned forward. So which one are you, Reed? Are you actually sorry? Or are you just sorry you got caught? The question burned. I don't know, Marcus said quietly. Agent Foster blinked. She hadn't expected honesty. I've been thinking about it all night, Marcus continued. Trying to figure out when it started. When I became this. And I can't pinpoint it. It wasn't one moment. It was 1,000 little moments. 1,000 small choices that I didn't even realize I was making. Like what? Like crossing the street when I saw a group of black teenagers. Like assuming the guy in the hoodie was up to no good. Like believing the nice car didn't belong to the black driver. Marcus's voice cracked. I told myself I wasn't racist. I told myself I judged people by their actions, not their skin. But I was lying. To everyone. Mostly to myself. Agent Foster studied him. Her expression was unreadable. My father used to say something, Marcus continued. He'd say, trust your instincts. Your gut knows who the bad guys are. And I believed him. I thought he was teaching me to be a good cop. But what he was really teaching me was. He stopped, swallowed hard. He was teaching me to be afraid. Of people who looked different. Of neighborhoods that weren't mine. Of anyone who didn't fit the mold of what I thought was safe. And you never questioned it. No, I never questioned it. Because questioning it would mean admitting my father was wrong. And my father was a hero. Everyone said so. 25 years on the force. Decorated. Respected. Marcus laughed bitterly. Turns out heroes can be villains too. The waitress brought their coffee. Set it down hard enough to slosh. Still didn't look at Marcus. Agent Foster took a sip. I grew up in South Chicago. Englewood. You know it. Marcus nodded. Everyone knew Englewood. One of the toughest neighborhoods in the city. I was 10 years old the first time a cop pulled a gun on me. 10. I was playing hopscotch on the sidewalk. These two officers rolled up, told me to freeze. Said I matched the description of a suspect. A suspect. She shook her head. I was a child in a pink dress playing hopscotch. And I matched a description. Marcus felt sick. My mother came running out. Screaming. Crying. Begging them not to shoot her baby. And you know what one of those cops said to her? Agent Foster's voice went cold. He said, "Control your kid or we'll do it for you." I was 10 years old, Reed. And that was the day I learned that my skin made me dangerous. Even when I was just being a child. I'm sorry. I don't want your apology. I want you to understand something. She leaned forward. I became a cop because I wanted to be different. I wanted to prove that we could do better. That we could protect people without terrorizing them. And for 15 years, I've been fighting against people like you. People who see a threat in every black face. Who reach for their gun instead of their humanity. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to know who I am. I want you to know that when I sat in that car yesterday reading my newspaper, I wasn't just another traffic stop to you. I was every assumption you've ever made. Every bias you've ever had. Every black person you've ever feared for no reason. She paused. And when you pulled that gun on me, you weren't just threatening me. You were threatening every black person who's ever been stopped for driving while black. Shopping while black. Living while black. The words hung between them like an indictment. But here's the thing, Agent Foster continued. I've also been doing this long enough to know the difference between a monster and a man who's been turned into one. And Reed, I don't think you're a monster. I think you're a product. A product of bad training. Bad culture. Bad family legacy. End products. She tapped the folder. Products can be dismantled. What does that mean? It means I'm giving you a choice. A real one. She slid the folder across the table. The FBI is launching a full investigation into Riverside PD. Systemic racism. Civil rights violations. The works. It's going to take down a lot of people. Your friends. Your mentors. Maybe even your father's legacy. Marcus opened the folder. Inside were documents. Testimony requests. Cooperation agreements. You can fight it. Lawyer up. Deny everything. Try to salvage what's left of your reputation. And you'll lose. We have the evidence. We have the pattern. We have you on video. Agent Foster's eyes were hard. Or you can help us. Really help us. Not just by ratting out other cops. But by helping us understand how the system creates people like you. How it perpetuates racism under the guise of public safety. You want me to be a witness. I want you to be a teacher. We're developing new training programs, anti-bias initiatives, community policing strategies. And we need someone who can speak to cops. Someone who's been where they are. Someone who can say, I was you. And here's how I changed. Marcus stared at the documents. You think I can change? I think you're the first cop I've confronted who didn't immediately play victim. Who didn't blame the media or political correctness or anything else. You said, I don't know. She paused. That's the beginning of something. Maybe. And if I do this? If I help you, what happens to me? You'll never be a cop again. That part's over. You'll face civil suits. Probably lose everything financially. Your marriage is already done. Your reputation is destroyed. Your friends will hate you. The cops you testify against will want you dead. Agent Foster's voice softened slightly. But you'll be able to look yourself in the mirror. Eventually. And maybe you'll save someone else from becoming you. Redemption isn't about erasing your mistakes. It's about making sure no one else repeats them. Marcus looked up from the documents. Why are you doing this? Why give me a chance? Agent Foster was quiet for a long moment. Then she pulled out her phone. Showed him a photo. A young black man in a cap and gown. Smiling. Bright future ahead. My brother. Jamal. He was pulled over by a cop 7 years ago. Traffic stop. Routine. Except Jamal reached for his wallet the wrong way. Moved too fast. Scared the officer. Her voice cracked slightly. The officer shot him 4 times. Jamal was 22 years old. He was going to be a teacher. Marcus felt tears stinging his eyes. The officer said he feared for his life. That Jamal was aggressive. That it was justified. And you know what? The department believed him. Because that's what they always do. They believed the cop over the dead black kid. Don't. Agent Foster held up her hand. Don't apologize for something you didn't do. Just do better than the cop who killed my brother. That's all I'm asking. Be better. Help others be better. Make his death mean something. Marcus looked at the folder again. At the cooperation agreement. At the chance to make things right. Or at least less wrong. He thought about Sarah. The baby he'd never meet. The career that was gone. The life that was over. And he thought about Jamal Foster. 22 years old. Shot for reaching for his wallet. He thought about Marcus Williams. 16 years old. 4 years in juvenile detention for something he didn't do. He thought about Dr. Amara Thompson. Ordered out of her own home at gunpoint. He thought about all the people he'd hurt. All the lives he'd damaged. All the fear he'd created.